and talking about university students, talking about Asian students, talking about the Chinese. Have you guys heard of this story? Fucking crazy, wild story. So this is courtesy of the BBC. It's also been covered in The Guardian and a few other places, so I'm sure some of you have seen this. But there's this PhD student called Zhenhao Zhuao who raped a bunch of girls in the UCL, London, here in London. And they're saying that he raped 10 women, but it could be far more, because they're alleging that a lot of the women who did get raped by him probably haven't come forward or are ashamed to come forward and won't ever kind of put their name to it. But it's probably far more than 10 people that he might have raped. And he's finally got caught the other day. Absolutely crazy. Let's go to the BBC. It says, depraved and cowardly, a rapist may have attacked 50 more women. So they've got him for 10, but they're saying it could be 50 plus. Wow. When he was arrested on January 2024, serial rapist Zhenhao Zhu was living on a 39th floor of an expensive block of London flats with views across the city. The PhD student from China, who had been studying in the University College of London, one of the most prestigious colleges in London, was paying more than £4,000 in rent per month, right? Police found his bedroom had been equipped with hidden cameras, discovered a wardrobe stocked with alcohol, ecstasy, and industrial chemical that the human body turns into date rape drug GHB. He had a pipette for carefully measuring doses of the liquid form. But detectives also found 1,277 videos on his electronic devices. At least some were filmed by Zhu, showing him raping unconscious women. The footage has been filmed in both the UK and China. Police were able to charge him with multiple assaults on women in both countries, including rapes of women who had never come forward and never been identified. He'd been raping women in China and women here. So can you imagine the numbers? They must be north of 100, especially if he's got 1,277 videos. It's unlikely these are just like loads of videos of like 5 people. They're probably split across like 100, if not more than that. Absolutely horrifying, man. This is a video of him getting arrested.
Hello, sir. You Mr. Zhu by any chance?
What's your name, sir? Pardon? Zhu.
And your surname?
Huh?
And your surname?
Family name, Zhou.
Pardon?
Zhou.
You got any ID on you at all?
Yeah.
Yeah, can you show me your ID, please, just so we can confirm who you are?
Him pretending to fucking not speak English. You see how he immediately went into trying to pretend he doesn't understand English. You're a PhD student in the UK, bro. You understand English. Stop fucking around.
That doesn't. Is there anybody else in?
I saw it was done.
Sorry? Say that again?
I remember months.
Okay, sir, I'm arresting you on suspicion of rape, okay? Because it is alleged that on the 14th of...
Oh, I guess he was saying I thought it was done. I'm assuming they spoke to him prior about what happened, and he probably thought he cleared his name. That's why he's surprised to see them there. I'm assuming. That's why I said I thought it was done. I'm assuming. Maybe I'm mistaken. But his apartment is also a mess, by the way. No surprise.
Of November last year, you have vaginally raped a female at this address, okay? You do not have to say anything, but it may harm your defence if you do not mention when questioned something which you later rely on in court. Anything you do say may be given in evidence. Your arrest is necessary for a prompt and effective investigation, okay? Your time of... Let me finish. Your time of arrest is now 1:53. Come on. Come out so I can check the...
Just allow something cover here.
Can I...
Want a jacket or anything?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get that. If you shuffle out. Shuffle out.
What a piece of shit. And again, man, big up all the brave women, because all it takes is one woman. Similar to what happened in the comedy scene when Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen and all those guys were running amok and doing a nonsense and bullying fucking other comedians and being fucking cunts and flexing the fact that they were friends with Rogan on other comics and making them feel less than. It actually took women, Kalila and fucking Ann Liederman, to be specific, to call them out. And it blew up everything. Obviously, the Ann Liederman thing was more to do with him allegedly telling her to walk him to his truck and shit. But it took women to stand up to someone in order to kind of blow it out in the open and expose all the madness. So big up to the ladies, whoever they are, 1, 2, 5 of them, who were brave enough to actually go to the police. Because this guy was getting away with it forever. If he was back home in China, most likely he would have got away with this forever. You know, when it comes to like tradition, when it comes to family values, when it comes to not wanting to bring shame upon your family, I'm assuming most of those girls had those things going in on their head, whether it's going to disturb their own studies, if they were going to be looked upon badly in the community because maybe this kid comes from a very well-to-do, affluent, influential, family who are maybe associated with the CCP. All those things are happening, right? You're probably, so many things are going through your head, plus just whatever you heard. Normally, I think we've all heard of how troubling and traumatic it is for women to go through giving evidence when it comes to sexual assaults, when it comes to harassment, when it comes to rapes especially, and suggesting yourself to a rape kit and trying to relive in the trauma in order to give an accurate description of what happened. All those things can affect a woman's ability to kind of come forth, give evidence to put someone away. So sometimes the people quote unquote get away with it, it's not because they were innocent, it's because there's not enough women willing to kind of put themselves through that turmoil to put somebody behind bars. But the ones that are brave enough to do so, they deserve a big round of applause, because you never know how many future assaults, how many future rapes they may have stopped because they were brave enough to confess what happened, to admit what happened, and to report it, and obviously follow through. Because that's all it took. I bet you it took one or two brave women within that community to finally say, you know what, enough is enough. I have to report this motherfucker, and now he's going down, because this is crazy, bro. Because I'm just imagining, most likely, if this is a PhD student doing his thing, most likely the numbers are going to be 100 plus. Especially coming over, you're living outside of your parents' houses, you're away from their control, you're maybe a little bit more loosey-goosey and free with how you live and do your life. Maybe you're dating a little bit more. So most likely you are probably interacting with a bunch of people. You may be going to certain student parties, student raves and shit. Different, maybe even your building has single nights. You just imagine the amount of times he's encountering women of the, people of the opposite sex, and, in a sort of dating fashion. And you could definitely see the numbers being north of 100. Absolutely crazy, crazy work. The article continues. During his trial at the Any City Crown Court, jurors had to watch footage found on Zhu's devices of 9 of the rapes. Zhu, now 28, claimed he had been sleeping with 5 different women a month and taking cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, and what he called liquid E, the date drug GHB. He admitted that he had 7 sex with unconscious women was one of his fantasies, but he claimed the women in the videos on his phone and cameras were acting, helping. He claimed to bring his rape fantasies to life in exchange for money and gifts. Fucking wild. It's also kind of wild and kind of shows, right, how different gravy these people are, especially some of these Asian students. Because this guy was somehow studying for a PhD while being a party boy. I don't know how he was doing it, right? At my peak of going out there and getting through the packets, I couldn't fucking record. I couldn't record streams. I can't fucking get out of my bed. I can't read books. I can't watch TV series. And this kid is somehow still able to, conduct his PhD studies. Like, while he's doing a cocktail of cocaine, ketamine, ecstasy, and fucking GHB. Absolutely built different. Absolutely built different. For all the wrong reasons, okay? All the wrong reasons, but definitely built different. However, the jury ultimately decided that he was a serial rapist who had been drugging young women and filming their attacks. Zhu has now been found guilty of 11 rapes of 10 different women, 2 of whom identified, and another 8 who have yet to be traced across 2 different countries. The detectives said they fear the detectives say they fear he may have raped as many as 50 more women. This man may well turn out to be the most prolific sexual predators that we've ever seen in this country. This man may as well turn out to be the most prolific sexual predators we have ever seen in this country, says Commander Kevin Southworth from the Metropolitan Police. God almighty. What an insane thing to say. Of all the sexual assaults we have in the UK, and there's been a ton of them, we have, we're home of the diddlers, unfortunately. We're home of the rapists. For all of those that we've had over the years, this one fucking PhD student might be the highest one. I remember there was actually one dude, I think there's a dude who was raping guys who was also Asian, if I'm not mistaken. Was he Asian as well? Yeah, I think he was Asian. So these Asian students, man, these Chinese students, they don't fuck around, man. They look a little bit like, docile and whatever and geeky and dripped out in their expensive school, in expensive designer, shuffling their feet around, spending money in places they probably should be spending money in. But these guys are not they're not as placid as you think they are. Honestly, it's kind of crazy because I do remember. I think it was a guy. I'm pretty sure it was a guy that got. I think it was in Kent or something, and I think he was doing it all on Grindr, and he eventually got done as well. Machiavellian individual. Many of the women he raped were completely unconscious. One who we are calling Miss L said she woke up to find Zhu raping her before she drifted back into unconsciousness. Another who we're calling Miss N only discovered Zhu had secretly filmed himself raping her when detectives found the video in his flat 8 months after she was first reported. I think it's devious and Machiavellian individual. He said Zhu would meet women socially or through social media and then take them back to his flat where he would ply them with drink laced with drugs. He would commit these sexual assaults while they were incapacitated, possibly even while they were asleep and completely unaware. I wonder, right? And I think as a woman, you have to be careful about this. I wonder how many guys are out there. This is just coming into my head right now. How many guys out there are like casually raping women? And when I mean casually, I mean like they have like GHB at home, and when they invite a girl back at home, just to kind of ease the fucking thing forward, because maybe they're not, they're not confident in their own skills of like seduction. They lace their drink with a bit of something. I wonder how many guys do it in a quote unquote casual way, thinking it's nothing bad, thinking it's just them trying to give themselves every chance to get across the line. It's quite sick if you think about it. Could you imagine the amount of women who have woken up thinking, hold on, there's something, and they lie about it. You know the kind of guys that lie about it? The kind of guys that will invite you back, give you drinks, you have no idea it's laced, you take it, you're not out, they take advantage of you while you're out, but then you wake up feeling like something happened, but then they lie and say nothing did happen. But you feel something did. I wonder how many guys are out there doing that on like a casual, every week basis. You gotta be careful, bro. Like honestly, you gotta be careful. You gotta be careful. You can't literally like, I think if you're a dude, you can't take it personally if a woman is very hesitant about coming back to yours. You can't take it fucking personally if they're hesitant to accept your drinks, or they want to pour their own drink, or they want to be there while you're pouring drinks, or whatever it may be. You can't take it personally. Because, I don't know, if it was me and I was a girl, I'd be so dubious about going to anyone's house. Maybe I'd invite you back to mine, right? But it would take a while, You have to be very careful about who you invite into your space, very careful about where you go, if you go back to that person's space, very careful about what drinks you take, because I feel like, I don't know why, but I have a feeling like this whole GHB date rape drug thing is a lot more prevalent than people know. I feel like a lot of dudes do this. Like a lot of guys are out here like quietly spiking girls' drinks just to kind of help them get across the line to go to third base and shit. And girls are waking up in like a dreary, misty fucking haze, feeling like they got taken advantage of. Like, oh, I think I got raped. I think something happened. The guy's like, no, I swear, nothing happened, man. We just chilled, we hung out, we made out a bit, but I didn't fuck you. It's like, no, I felt like, I mean, like, you can definitely feel it. A woman can definitely feel that sort of stuff. I have a feeling that's the case. I don't know why, but something tells me that this is a bit more prevalent than what it seems. God damn it, man. I hope not, but something tells me. And this is a picture, I guess, of the GHB bottle that he had in his room. God almighty. It's basically full from what it looks like on here. God almighty. Inside Zhu's flat, police found a bottle of liquid used to drug women along with the pipettes to measure it out. And there's a pipette people use. I've seen this in clubs. I've always wondered how people get fucking GHB bottles in clubs, by the way. Because I've seen people with bottles like this in clubs. In nightclub toilets. I'm not going to name which clubs they are, but you know the ones I go to. I've seen guys with this bottle in toilet cubicles. And I've seen guys with pipettes. So always funny whenever I get, and I think, I guess security at clubs is almost like when you go through security at fucking airports and stuff. They're usually going to be, aiming towards guys, black guys, brown guys, people with beards. But if you're a certain complexion, you'll probably get away with it. Because I've always wondered, how am I getting searched, like, extensively, intimately, and I might have, like, a little, cheeky baggie somewhere, but nothing crazy. And niggas are coming into fucking clubs with whole bottles full of liquid GHB and pipettes. And they get in. How are they getting those in? How did they get those in? Article continues. Zhu, who comes from Dongguan City in southern China, close to Hong Kong, grew up in a wealthy family who owned several properties in China. Wow. I bet this also might be the reason why these girls haven't reported him. I would assume, even though most Chinese people don't know each other, I would assume it's probably different for the wealthy ones. And I'm assuming it's different also for the ones that come and study abroad. There's probably like some sort of like, maybe an app, maybe some sort of thing they use to communicate. But there's definitely a sort of, I would imagine like a network of like affluent Chinese students who kind of all know each other, especially if their parents work in the same business or they all work for the CCP. So for sure, I would imagine that probably played a part in them probably being worried about reporting it, because they know he's very, you know, he comes from a wealthy family. They have a lot of clout back home and power, respect. Maybe they've opted from people, you know. Jesus Christ, man. Zhu comes from Dongguan City in southern China, close to Hong Kong, and grew up in a wealthy family who owned several properties in China. Were able to afford the hefty fees for his higher education in the UK. His nickname was Paco, the name some women he later raped knew him by. Paco as in like is that Paco as in the breadcrumbs? Is that his name? His name is Paco as in the breadcrumbs. So what? Like he sticks to you? Is that his name? Is that like a nickname for being sticky? Or being crumbly or crispy? I thought it's Paco, innit? Or is it Panko? I think it's Panko. I think it's Panko I'm talking about. It's not Paco. But anyway, regardless. At the age of 20, he moved to Northern Ireland to finish the final 2 years of his mechanical engineering degree at Queen's University Belfast. Yeah, exactly. So he moved. He was living in Northern Ireland, studying there, and he opened the door and speaking like he couldn't speak any English. Get out of here, bro. You can speak English. You're just trying to fucking put the fucking police officers off. In September 2019, he then moved to London to study a master's in mechanical engineering at UCL, but then returned to China in the following year during COVID-19 pandemic. While there in November 2020, he used an obscure messaging app to download what amounted to an instruction manual on how to date rape young women. What's an obscure messaging app? I guess they mean Telegram, right? That's not obscure. Telegram's pretty big. It's got a big user base. From what I've heard. One advert police found on his phone had the words "effects guaranteed" splashed across pictures and sleeping with naked women. Oh my god. There are people selling GHB on Telegram under the guise that it's perfect for you to fuck girls if girls are asleep. Yo, this is dark, bro. I'm sorry to start the podcast like this, people. Wherever you're at, if you're eating, drinking somewhere, I'm really sorry about bringing the mood down. I didn't know it was going to be this dark. Oh my god. People are advertising GHB as the perfect drug to knock women out so you can fuck them. Oh my god, man. Oh my god. On his telephone, police found 7 videos of him raping women in China. They were referred to in courts as female B, C, D, E, F, and G, H. 5 of the women looked completely unconscious in the videos. One, female G, appeared to wake briefly while Zoe was raping her, but struggled to maintain consciousness. Female H could be heard snoring. Snoring. No, you're sick, bro. You're sick. You're sick, man. You're sick. You're sick. To be fair, anyway, I think most guys have known dudes. Most guys have known of dudes who do this. Who are like into going to raves and getting girls fucked up on booze and then trying to bring them back home. And I've always thought of those guys as weirdos. I'm not going to lie. More so because those guys are also very egotistical and proud about their accomplishments. Those type of guys that are like boast. Oh yeah, I smashed this girl, smashed that girl. Bro, how can you boast about this link when she was drunk? Like, that's not a win. I don't know, maybe it was me and my friends growing up, but part of the satisfaction of like hooking up with somebody was the idea that you hooked up with somebody that was fully conscious, you know? You hooked up with somebody that was a fully functioning adult, that you somehow convinced into letting them kind of letting you touch them, you know? But there was no honor in like fucking somebody who was asleep, who was fucked up, where the lines were blurred. It was no honor in that whatsoever. And I always thought those guys was weirdos. And now I've been proved right, because as you get older, you'd imagine those same guys who are up for, yeah, man, going home with someone when they're drunk and not just putting the person in an Uber and sending them home and shit and making sure they're safe. No, just going out of your way to take advantage of them. Those will be the same type of dudes who are going to spike a girl's drink with GHB so she's unconscious so they can fuck them. That's the same type of weirdo. That's a fucking gateway to fucking raping. I don't care. Any guy out there, I'm gonna draw a line in the sand. Any guy out there who goes out their way or doesn't put a girl that's smashed in a cab home and just tell her sayonara and check up on them later and by text in the morning and stuff and follow through with it, you're a borderline rapist. You are. That's like a entry. That's like a doorway entry to doing that sort of madness. I don't care, because no guy with actual game is taking that as a win or seeing that as a good thing. You are definitely suspect if you go out of your way to fuck drunk girls. I'm not gonna lie. Another woman, female D, was unconscious when the rape began, but came around and repeatedly told Zhu, please no, while trying to fight him off. Oy, oy, oy. The videos were so disturbing to the judge, Rosina Cottage, made sure that the jurors watched them as little as possible. Detectives have not been able to track down the woman in China. Of course not. They won't be able to. They're not going to ever come forward, ever. Like, it's fortunate that he came to the UK. It's obviously harrowing that he had to abuse more people. But I think because he came here, the women that live here are a bit more empowered and probably feel a little bit more independent. So they went forward and reported him. But if he would have continued doing this in China, he would have probably got away with it, especially with his family connections and stuff. But I think the women here are the ones that did him justice, and put him behind bars gladly. And look at him sitting in the fucking interview room with a Louis Vuitton top on. Fucking hell. That's probably his he's like laying around jumper. He's laying around clothes, right? The only like basic thing he had was an LV jumper that probably cost £1,000 plus. God Almighty, this is him getting interviewed.
How many videos do you have?
你总共有多少条片他拍的？
No comments.
How many victims are there?
有多少个受害人？
No comments.
How long has this been going on for?
No comments.
你这些所为进行了多长时间？
No comments.
I wonder who helped him get the lawyer. I wonder if it was his parents. I wonder who helped him get the lawyer, man. Absolutely crazy. Yo, big up the stream chat. Apologies for ignoring you guys. Oh, big up Ashley Cummings. Well gone. Big up Auntie Ashley Cummings. What's good, my G? What's good? What's good, my girl? Love you more. Big up Ashley Cummings in the chat. Appreciate you. Big up Radio Shaman also in the chat. Big up Radio Shaman. He was definitely Chinese. I reported one in 2019. Oh, apologies to hear that, Ashley Cummings. And the cop tried to make me not. He basically threatened me. He definitely had a penis the size of a grain of rice. Jesus Christ. Sorry to hear that, Ashley Cummings. I'm surprised me to feel like an Asian cop did in my note himself. Big up Automech. I wonder how many people he drugged and robbed also. Yeah, the robbery. Yes, that's a good point, Automech. Sorry, Automech. That's a really good point. Yeah. The robbery thing is also a thing, isn't it? Going back to the girls' homes, lacing them with fucking GHB, and then, sneaking out with their fucking Birkins and stuff. I'm sure that happens too. So if you're an Asian girl out there and you're bringing guys back home, just make sure you pour the drinks, and always take your drink with you when you go into the toilet. Don't fucking play no games. It's mad you have to do that, when you're dating, when you're seeing somebody, when you're just living life and shit. But it's better to be safe than sorry. Big up Mr. Studio Girl. Straight weirdos be trying to get women drunk to make a move. Exactly, Mr. Studio Girl. You know exactly. Like, that's never a win in my book. Never a win. Never a win. I'd rather get rejected a million times the normal way than fucking make out randomly with somebody because they were super smashed. No, it doesn't work that way. That's actually an L. It doesn't look good on anyone's part. And also, you don't want to, because even if it works out, you don't want a person regretting doing it with you the next day either. Do you know what I mean? You don't want them to have like, you don't want them to have like fucking, post drunk make out clarity in the morning and then fucking be grossed out by your presence or the mere mention of your name. So why not fucking put yourself in the good books by sending them back home in an Uber and trying again next time? Maybe if it works out, it's not a bad thing. But some guys some guys are out there are creepos. Big up Mr. Bob. If I know you doing stuff when the girl's asleep, it's on site. Definitely gonna be a problem. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I don't associate people that do that shit anyway in the first place. But yeah, you're right. Definitely is on site issue for sure. It continues. Although some of these victims were raped in China, Zhu could be put on trial in the UK because he was a resident here. Syra Pike from the Crown Prosecution Services said it was important to bring the justice of the of these unknown females who could be seen raping in the videos. It's really important that we fight for them. I was determined to go forward with that and not to use the fact that we couldn't identify the females as a deterrent for getting justice for them. But Zhu did not rape any women. Zhu did not only rape women in China. So they actually want to bring the charges or anything here. I'm surprised he didn't run away. I'm surprised they found him, I'm not gonna lie. Because it sounded like when they opened the door, he wasn't that shocked to see them, and he was surprised more so that they came back because he answered questions previously. So I'm surprised he didn't run straight away after the first questioning, you know? They're probably fortunate, or maybe what they might have done, they might have taken away his passport. Or maybe he would have got flagged if he tried to go back, but I'm surprised he didn't try to make a run for it. Really surprised. Two of the most distressing videos show a rape of female A at zoo student accommodation in Bloomsbury, central London. Police have never been able to establish who female A is, and it's unclear if she was raped before or after the zoo's trip to China during the pandemic. At the start of the first video, female A can be seen unconscious, but woke and pleased with Zoo to stop. She said, "I hate you," she could be heard saying. "It's pointless," Zoo replied. "The sound installation here is very good." God almighty. It's pointless, the sound installation is very good. The second video is similar. Both had been filmed on a tiny spy cam the size of a thumb, placed on a shelf on the other side of the room, which unfortunately now you can get for fairly cheap online. They're obviously used for like home security, but if you want to do nefarious things, those tiny spy cams are so cheap nowadays. The second video is similar. Both had been filmed on a tiny spy cam. When detectives first found the videos, they could not extract the sound. At first, Zoo insisted the women in the video were fully consented to sex, but just before the trial, detectives managed to recover the sound, showing female A was clearly under the influence of drugs or alcohol, and she was begging him to stop. Wow, how did they do that then? I didn't know that. They have tools to do that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? I guess it's part of the metadata. I guess if it was recorded with sound and you strip it away, I guess with the metadata you can restore the sound. I didn't know that was possible. That's fucking awesome, man. Because I guess he could have argued if all his videos were mute, he could have argued it was all consensual. And it's hard to prove it's not based on the video, you know? Zoo then changed his story, telling the jury that it was a rape role play and the young woman had been acting. Zoo is plainly a depraved and cowardly individual who's preyed on his victims and survivors in the most despicable way. Who's preyed on his victims, yeah. Jesus Christ, man. Okay, that's the recording device, right? That's the thumb camera. Police have never been able to trace female A. However, two women did give evidence against Zoo at trial. Miss N, a young Chinese student, described how she first met Zoo in May 2023. He had been helping her with maths. A few days later, they both went to a party at another flat in his luxury block, the Uncle Building. Okay, maybe that's it. Let's see this. The Uncle Building. Yeah, Uncle Building. Okay, cool. So there's the Uncle Building there. Okay, the flats don't look that crazy. They look a little bit, you know, it's not that crazy. It's not that crazy, but let me see here. Uncle Building, right? There's a 3-bedroom flat here and a 1-bedroom. Let's see what the 1-bedroom flat looks like. Let me zoom in a little bit. Let me see the 1-bedroom flat looks like. Yo, big up David Guerrero. Yeah, yeah, exactly. What a start. Indeed, what a start. I thought, let me ref up the podcast. Let me start the stream. Let's get through some of these stories that I found on the internet that I found quite interesting. And I'm not going to lie, I did kind of do a cursory glance at the story and find out what was going on, but I wasn't aware of the entire details. And the entire details are a little bit more harrowing than I first imagined. So I do apologize to people who were, you know, expecting something a little bit more soft for the start. But hey, let's get through this and highlight the story because I think it's important to share with how crazy it is. So let's actually look at this bit. What's this one? This is a 1-bedroom flat. Wow, that's a lot of money, isn't it? £1,899 per month for a 1-bedroom flat. Uncle Wembley. Can I view some pictures? Okay, cool. I guess is that the main? That's kind of a big flat, isn't it? It's a big living space. I'm not gonna lie. I don't like the fucking concrete slab tube thing in the middle of the room. Not gonna lie, but that's a nice big room space, opening area. I guess you got a living room, dining area. There's the bedroom there. Nice little. Oh, there's a balcony. That's lovely. A nice balcony there that looks quite big for what it is. It's not overlooking the river or anything. Nice bathroom. Yeah, it's a decent size. It's a decent flat, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie. For what it is, it's a decent flat. 1 bed, 1 bath, but £2,000, £2,000 for a 1 bed, 1 bath is fucking insane, to be fair. I'm not gonna lie. 2,000 is pretty crazy. Let's look at the 2-bed. The 2-bed is also pretty standard layout in terms of what it looks like. The second room also looks out to a balcony. I just want to see, what does the Uncle Building look like? Uncle Building, Wembley. What does it actually look like on the outside? That's pretty mad, isn't it? Like how much they're paying per month. But I've also heard, I don't know if you guys have heard this, by the way. There's a story that I read online about some Chinese students who come to the UK, especially to study, they have to pay crazy amounts of tuition fee. I think tuition fee for Asian students is somewhere between 25 to 30 grand per year. And allegedly, some of them are coming over to, facilitate money laundering for their families back home, because there's only a certain amount of money you can send abroad every year as a Chinese citizen. I think it's like 50 grand or something. So some of them are engaging in some nefarious things, like racking up a bunch of credit card debt and then running back home to China and not paying it back. Have you heard that? That's like a thing that's been happening. It's rampant within Chinese students. Like, that's why some of them are so dripped out. They just rack up a bunch of credit card debt, and because they're only here for 3 years or whatever it may be, or to study, if they graduate, they graduate. If not, they just like skip out and don't pay back the fucking debt. It's kind of wild. I kind of fuck with it, but that might explain why a lot of them look like, all they do is shop on fucking, all they do is shop in luxury stores and shit. All they do is shopping. Everything they buy is from Selfridges, Selfridges, Harvey Nichols and shit. So this is the Uncle building. I'm not gonna lie, it looks kind of depressing. The Uncle building kind of looks like the building in Dread. That main building in Dread where they go to fucking investigate the fucking thing that happened with the drug dealer lives at the top. This building looks like that building from Dread. It looks very depressing, very brutalist. Yeah, loads of squares and shit. Doesn't look very nice. I'm not gonna lie. Doesn't look very nice. Doesn't look very appealing. But I'm assuming everybody knows how much it's priced, and it feels probably nice walking in there, feeling like you've paid a lot of money for your flat. Maybe it's good to network and shit, but it doesn't look nice on the outside. It looks very, very depressing. Very, very depressing. Anyway, going back to the article. Miss N, a Chinese student, described how she first met Zhao in May 2023. He had been helping her with maths. A few days later, they both went to a party at another flat in his luxury block, the Uncle building in Elephant and Castle. After the party, he persuaded her to go back to his flat, where he piled her with drinks. The court heard that Zhao then dragged her into his bedroom, where he raped her. Dragged her, Jesus Christ. Some of their first conversations in the flat were recorded on spy cam beside the bed, which was triggered by a motion sensor. Finish the drink, Zhao kept saying to the video. Finish the drink, it should not be wasted. Wow. Wow. I don't know about you, bro, but if I was a woman and any person that I'm dating, seeing, repeatedly told me to finish a drink, I'm pouring that drink out on the floor right away, slapping them and running away. That should be a trigger. That should be a red flag. If a guy is telling you repeatedly, hey, finish a drink, finish a drink, finish a drink, that should give you cause for concern. That should give you major cause for concern. Because that's not normal. That is not normal in the slightest. Finish your drink. What? What do you mean finish my drink? What the fuck are you talking about? Miss Ed does not remember much after drinking the large glass of vodka. She reported that the rape to the police soon afterwards, but unsure of the law, she says discouraged by the officer's responses, including a poor translation of her 999 call, she decided not to pursue the allegations. Oh no. God bless Miss N. God bless her, man. Fucking hell. Probably felt like she was being made to feel dumb. What did you mean? Can you repeat that again? Like, it's weird though. We live in London, isn't it? It's weird we live in London and police dispatch don't have like on hand somebody who can translate, especially from the Chinese people who can translate what they're saying so that when they're reporting a crime, it doesn't go unheard. It's so odd, isn't it? Considering how many Chinese people are around or live here, there should be somebody at least who can understand basic Chinese, who can kind of guide through the process, or maybe make them feel comfortable and tell them, hey, please come in to the station and we'll have somebody here that can translate. It seems odd that that's not the case. Metropolitan Police have said it was regretful. Victims did not get the best translation. There is undoubtedly some learning from the first response. Some learning, That's a fucking understatement, you motherfucker. Because imagine if the person got away with it because of this. They've made you feel dumb. They didn't go follow through with the fucking complaint or with the fucking, allegation. And them done. It's gone. It's over with. Some learnings, That's an understatement of the year. There's undoubtedly some learning that can be done from the first response of these victims received. 8 months after Miss N spoke to the police, detectives contacted her again. Okay, good. They followed up, telling her that they had found videos of Zhu plying her with drinks and photographs on his phone showing her to be raped. It's actually quite sad because it means she didn't go back. She got bad service. She didn't get treated well. They didn't treat her with respect. They didn't understand her. And 8 months later, if not for following up, he would have got away with it, Thank God the police followed up on it. Miss N was so upset about her ordeal that she also posted on a Chinese social media app, Red Note, warning other women about Zhu. This was spotted by another woman, Miss L, who replied and said that she has similar experience. Wow. God bless Red Note. Miss L said that she met Zhu when she was 19 in August 2021. He had consensual sex a couple of times, had agreed to meet up with friends at a restaurant in London, Chinatown. The group moved on to a private room at another restaurant, drinking several bottles of Jack Daniels. She has little memory of what happened after, but she ended up at Zhu's Bloomsbury flat. When I woke up, I found him on top of me having sex. Yo, by the way, Chinese people can get through drinks, innit? Chinese people can drink. They don't look like it because they're usually kind of small and shit, but they can get through some booze. Couple of fucking bottles of Jack Daniels. Restaurant stuff, like, they don't play. Whenever you go to a Chinese restaurant and you see them at table, they don't play. The orders are always substantial and there's always drinks at the table, like tons of them. And that's just the start of the night. That's just to get the fucking, you know, the esophagus nice and loose and whatever else. Then they're going to drink more when they go to a karaoke or they go to another bar. Like, they can drink. I wonder what that's about. Maybe it's just a cultural thing. They know how to handle their drink, man. But obviously it opens, if you're a young woman, unfortunately, it opens you up to these unfortunate instances. Fuck, man. So what's this they found? Detectives found a stash of drugs at his flat. Whole bag full of fucking drugs just lying there. And you know you're psycho. You know you're a real freak. Oh, there's also Xanax there. You know you're a real freak. You know you're a weirdo when you've got a bag full of drugs that you don't even use. Because most party boys, most party girls, most caners out there, everybody out there hearing my voice will understand. You don't just have drugs lying around just to use whenever you use them. You have them and then they get used. You know, they're gone. But if you have them lying around just, you know, for the sake of it, you're a weirdo because it means you're planning something with them. These are not drugs for you. You are definitely not even doing them that much yourself. It's mostly drugs to fucking entice someone to come back to your flat. Drugs to maybe get somebody in the state of mind that you want to get them in to take advantage of them. That's the only reason why you have a bag full of drugs like that. Crazy shit. Oh, they put out an alert. Jesus Christ, look, they put out an alert. Police appeal for more victim survivors. They put out a poster about him with his mugshot and I guess a picture of him from one of those apps. The picture on the right definitely isn't what he looks like. I'm guessing that's the picture that he did and he fucking put it through Facetune. What he looks like is actually the picture there on the left hand side. It says here, Zhu's police appeal for victim survivors of Zhen Zhao Zhu. Zhen Zhao Zhu has been convicted after raping a number of women within UK and China. We believe that there are victim survivors have not been identified and appealing for them to come forward. If you or someone know has been impacted, please contact officers at survivors@met.police.uk. Fucking hell. When they searched Zhu's flat after his arrest, police found 4 spy cameras. The court heard he also found a yellow Fendi trophy box in the wardrobe containing jewelry and clothing which police think may have belonged to the women he raped. Wow. Trophy box, you know? God almighty. Police have not yet found any phones, computers or cameras from his time in Belfast, so they do not know if this campaign of drug rape had already begun when he was studying here. Oh, that's definitely somewhere. Maybe he sent that shit back home, but that definitely exists. No way, I don't believe that he just started raping women randomly in London. There's definitely evidence. There definitely would be something in Belfast for sure. They probably just have to find it. Maybe it got sent back home. Maybe it's in some secret compartment somewhere for sure. God almighty. UCL said that Zhu has been suspended on January 2024 and he stopped studying as soon as we were informed about the allegations. Wow, really? Well done UCL. Well done UCL for suspending him from the course even though he wasn't found guilty in a court of law. Just the allegations alone, they suspended him. That's fucking good to hear, I'm not gonna lie. The university said its online portal was available for students and staff affected with the case and it was supporting the police appeal. Zhu was found guilty of 11 charges of raping 10 women, 3 counts of voyeurism, and 3 counts of possessing controlled drug with intent to rape, and 1 count of false imprisonment. The jury found him not guilty of charges possessing MDMA, ketamine, Xanax, and intent to rape. They also found him not guilty of 2 charges possessing extreme pornography depicting rape. Okay, I guess those charges are less than and make sense because you don't want to lessen the actual charges. Cool, that makes sense. Because it's hard to say if somebody's got MDMA, ketamine at home and Xanax that they intend to rape somebody. That could just be them wanting to party. And it's also you can't really say because somebody likes to watch porn like that, because it does exist, right? There's porn of like what do they call it? What's it called? Is it like smush or smut? I forgot what's the name of it. But there's a category of porn that does exist of like people that play into the whole like sleeping, robbery sort of thing. I forgot that there's something like that. I'm definitely sure there's a category of porn people like to watch like that. It's almost like a force thing a little bit. No, the force thing is different. This is more like, you know, like it's some like people role playing, like, oh, I'm a burglar, I'm a rapist, all this sort of shit. It's pretty mad. Is it snuff? Yeah, I think is it snuff? Maybe it's snuff. I'm not sure what the category is, but I guess you can't really say because somebody watches that they also rape people. You know, like because the amount of people out there raping is pretty low, but the amount of people watching that sort of stuff is pretty high. So that obviously shows that most people don't try to, you know, do the things that they see online, which is probably beneficial. Even though it's weird that they're watching it, at least they're not doing it in practice. At least not with people that are not consenting. Commander Southworth added that we have video evidence as many as potentially 50 further victim survivors who we are desperate to trace, so that we can establish what has happened. Such is the insidious nature of this offending. I think there is a possibility that many more victim survivors may have not known that he has raped them. God Almighty! Detectives are asking women to come forward if they spent any time alone with Zhu, whether in China or the UK. Wow, they want to hear from anyone. If you spent time alone with him in any capacity, come forward, because you might be distressed to find out what may have happened. You may have a feeling, because I'm sure most women have a feeling, a gut feeling of what occurred. The same way how women always have a feeling if you're looking at them somewhere, right? They can always feel the eyes in the back of their head. I'm sure there's women who always can feel, no matter how much drugs somebody laced them with, no matter how much drink somebody laced them with, they always have a feeling, a gut feeling of like, okay, someone took advantage of me. Someone did something to me. Jesus Christ, man. But I'm glad he's behind bars. I'm guessing they're waiting for more women to come forward before they actually go forward with a trial and shit. But obviously they're on their way to it. And most likely he's going to spend a considerable amount of time behind bars, which is good to see. And hopefully it dissuades a bunch of people as well from not doing this going forward. But unfortunately, the real problem here, I think, oh look, actually that GHB bottle looks like it's bought in China. I see Chinese letters here. The unfortunate thing about it is, like I said, how I've just kind of thought about this while I was reading about this topic, is that most likely this is something that I think happens quite a lot. I'm guessing a lot of men are out there, unfortunately, you know, doing this to women on a probably nightly basis to get across the line and thinking nothing of it. You know, this is I guess that's a trophy box. Look at that. Yeah, this guy's sick, bro. Look what they found in the trophy box: hair bands, pieces of hair. It looks like a key, a sock, somebody's charger cable, a key for their home. It looks like lipstick, earrings, a ring. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yeah, I think I need to move on from this topic, man. I think I need to move on from this topic. So yeah, I'm glad it's over. I'm glad it's over. I'm glad he's got caught. I'm glad he has been caught.